Welcome to Real Reviews Retro, where we take a look back at older Hollywood releases and let you know if they're worth your time, money, and patience. I'm your host, Walter Benasiak. Today, we're going to travel all the way back to 1980. We will visit some old locations and, most of all, pay tribute to the phenomenon that is the Blues Brothers. If you don't know the premise by now, here it is. After his release from prison, Jake, John Belushi, reunites with his brother Elwood, Dan Aykroyd, collectively known as the Blues Brothers. Jake's first task is to save the orphanage the brothers grew up in from closing by raising $5,000 to pay back taxes. The two are convinced they can earn the money by getting their old band back together. However, after playing several gigs and making a few enemies, including the police, the brothers face daunting odds to deliver the money on time. Follow me. The Blues Brothers mean a lot to Chicago and the surrounding area. To the outside world, it still defines a big part of our culture and our city. Within Chicago, it ranks among the very top in terms of films made in or about the region. The image of the Blues Brothers themselves and their trusty bluesmobile adorn Chicagoland to this day, reminding us of their impact as new generations discover the characters, music, and movie. You see, I know a pretty decent amount about the Blues Brothers. And I think I should, because we were raised in the same place, Calumet City, Illinois, hometown of Walter Benasiak and the Blues Brothers. In the movie, it's said that they grew up at the St. Helen of the Blessed Shroud Orphanage in Calumet City. There never was such a place in Cal City, as most locals call it. The production actually didn't even film in Cal City at all, most likely just trying to capitalize off the South Suburbs' reputation at the time of filming as a rough neighborhood, home to many strip clubs, bars, and casinos on State Street. Today, the State Street Strip in Cal City isn't much more than an industrial junkyard. The Ray's Music Exchange scene also takes place in Calumet City, but was not filmed there. The Music Exchange was meant as a tribute to the once popular Hegrish record store that was, in fact, in Cal City for years. Let's talk a little bit specifically about why the Blues Brothers still holds up. You can just tell that everyone involved on this movie gave so much of themselves to it. They cared about making this film what it was meant to be. It endures because of that love that was put into it. This is shown in the end credits when the whole crew sings along to Jailhouse Rock. It really seemed like everyone was having a good time, or at least knew they were making something special. When you think about it, it really was a very weird movie. Strange things happen in it, the tone is very wacky, there are full-on musical numbers and dozens of police vehicles destroyed in massive car chase scenes. It's just a cluster of craziness from beginning to end, and it works. How? I don't know, but it's amazing in every sense of the word. The acting is a mixed bag, but it's a mixed bag on purpose. You have Belushi and Aykroyd in there, of course, with a few other screen veterans, but a lot of the smaller parts aren't even filled by actors.
He opened a soul food restaurant with his old lady on Maxwell Street, and he took Blue Lou with him.
Say what? Elwood.
Young children? Why? What do you mean?
Those lights are off on purpose.
Believe it or not, this bad acting adds to the movie's charm. It has this strange energy that makes it seem like a bunch of close friends who wanted to make a movie were given a gigantic budget, and the result is endearing. It's so much fun, so enjoyable. I dare anyone to watch this movie and not have a smile cross your face a few times. Even if you don't like the movie, it seems like the movie likes you. A few well-placed cameos push this quality even further. There's another big attribute about this movie that we have not discussed yet. The music, of course. Showcasing a lot of older talent, this film brought a lot of acts back into the mainstream in a big way. The music is arguably the biggest part about the movie, and the performances are top-notch. Cab Calloway's Minnie the Moocher concert is the definition of classic, and it cemented him as the most likable character in the movie. However, these great musical numbers weren't just from the established musicians, but from Belushi and Aykroyd themselves. They really held their own as showmen. They still influence young people to dance crazy and sing old songs to this day. Speaking of Belushi, what a loss. The guy was so talented, it's disgusting. He could do so much. He was a great singer and dancer, and the scene with Carrie Fisher and him in the tunnel, pure magic. Belushi was a top talent that was taken from us much, much too soon.
Let's take a quick second and talk about the famous car chases from this movie. Over 100 cars were destroyed during the making of the Blues Brothers. Behind me sits the remains of the mall that the brothers first drove through to escape the police. They had schematics.
These car stunts are amazing and still haven't been equaled in any film in my opinion. The sheer destruction, it was astounding. They even dropped a car out of a plane, decades before Fast and Furious decided to do it. These stunts deserve to be commended, and it is a huge part of the Blues Brothers legacy. The only small issue I've ever had with this film is Elwood standing up the girl he met at the gas station. I just thought it was pretty random, even for this movie, and just made Elwood's character a tad less likable. I still don't get why they did it. Maybe they were setting up for a sequel where Elwood would be chased by this lady, like Princess Leia kept trying to kill Jake. But ultimately, it was just some weird throwaway scene that slightly damaged Elwood's appeal. Not by much at all, but just a tad. Ultimately, this movie still bleeds fun, adventure, quirkiness, hilarity, and music. It's something that has never or will ever be equaled. The Blues Brothers defined a city for a lot of people, and considering Aykroyd is still doing live performances as Elwood, even without his friend John by his side, speaks to the impact this movie has had, not only on the audience, but on one of the creators himself. Like many others, I love the Blues Brothers, and it makes me proud to know that the place where I come from was represented in such a positive way. God bless the Blues Brothers.
It's good to know that no one will ever touch this masterpiece. Its impression everlasting. Its spirit pure.